Welcome students, I am Raman Singh Chauhan. We will be talking about today's topic Newton's ring. So what are Newton's ring? We will talk about this. We can say that Newton's ring are a series of concentric alternate bright and dark rings centered at the point of contact between the two surfaces. So here in the diagram we can see that Newton's rings are concentric fringes or rings which are bright and dark. In the center you can see bright, then dark, then bright, then dark. These rings are Newton's ring. Now, how are they formed? So, Newton's rings are formed due to interference between the light waves reflected from the top and bottom surfaces of the air film formed between the lens and glass sheet. So, Newton's rings are formed, or basically these are phenomena of interference. When interference is taking place between two waves which are reflected from or refracted from two different surfaces of an air film, and this air film is of the shape of wedge shaped. And the explanation of this phenomena is based on the theory of based on the wave theory of light that we will take on. So now we will see what is the experimental setup for formation of Newton's rings. Here we can see that we are having a sodium lamp, we are having a combination of glass plate P and plano-convex lens C. There is another glass plate G which is bended at 45 degree, and there is a travelling microscope arranged at the top. So from sodium lamp, when sodium lamp is used, that is monochromatic light source. When we are using sodium lamp, that is monochromatic light source. When light rays are coming, then these light rays are incident on the glass plate G, and when they are incident, because glass plate G is bended at 45 degree, so when light will come at glass plate G, it will reflected to the plate P, and that will be normal incidence at the plate P. When it will go to the combination of plano-convex lens C and glass plate P, then between the lower surface of the plano-convex lens and upper surface of the plate, here this shape, or we can say this shape, on these sides, this is a wedge shaped air film, and light rays will be reflected from the lower surface of the glass plate, lower surface of the plano-convex lens C and upper surface of the glass plate P, and then they will go to the microscope. And when they will go to the microscope, the rings will the rays will get overlap and formation of fringes will take place, and we can see the fringes here on the surface of the plano-convex lens in between the plate P and the plano-convex lens. So we can see that if a ring is formed here, it will be formed on this plano-convex C's lower surface, then again. So, and the point of contact of these two, plano-convex lens C and plane glass plate P, is the center at this point. When the point of contact is there, the center of the rings will be observed. So in this way, the experimental setup is, and how the rings are formed by this setup. So here we can have the key points that an air film of varying thickness is formed between the lens and the glass plate. So, that we have seen in the diagram. When a light ray is incident on the upper surface of the lens, it is reflected as well as refracted. And when the refracted ray strikes the glass sheet, it undergoes a phase change of 100 degree on reflection. So, we can see that interference occurs between the light reflected from the lower surface of the lens and the upper surface of the glass plate G. Since the convex side of the lens is a spherical surface, the thickness of the air film will be constant over a circle whose center will be at O, and we will obtain concentric dark and bright rings which are called Newton's ring because these were first observed by Newton's. So, in this way we can say the formation of Newton's ring is taking place where the reflected rays from the lower surface of the lens C, plano-convex lens C, and the upper surface of the plane glass plate P are overlapped, and when these are getting overlapped, then interference is taking place, and this interference is taking place between the plano-convex lens C and the glass plate P, and since the plano-convex lens is having spherical symmetry, the locus of the fringes of same thickness will be a circular ring, and that circular ring is called the Newton's ring, and we will observe these rings from the center will be at the point of contact O, and when we are moving outward, then we will find concentric rings which are Newton's rings. So, it should be pointed out that in order to observe the fringes, the microscope has to be focused on the surface of the film, and each ring will be locus of all such points where thickness is same, that we have discussed. So, now we will talk about the theory of the Newton's ring. Here we can see the main part of this Newton's ring experimental setup, that is combination of plano-convex lens C and the glass plate P. Here we can see the refractive index of this plano-convex lens is given as N glass, and the refractive index of the glass plate P is also given as N glass, and the refractive index of air is given as N air. So, suppose at any point which is at a thickness of W, here we can see the thickness is W, a ring is formed. So, radius of the ring will be R, that is distance between from this point to this point, and we will observe a ring like this here. If we are going to draw the circle at this thickness W, we will find that this is the ring of radius R. And here we are considering this point as center of this plano-convex lens, and the radius from this center to this surface of the lens is given as R. So, now we can see what is happening, the ray diagram here. Suppose a light ray is incident on the plano-convex lens. It will get refracted, slightly refracted ray is shown, and when it is refracting from the lower surface of the lens, the reflection is taking place, that is ray R1 is coming. Now, here from here the transmitted ray will go to the glass plate P, and at this point it will again reflected at the glass plate P and go to the surface of the lower surface of the lens. From here it will transmitted as R2, and these rays R1 and R2 will get overlapped. So, when these rays are getting overlapped, we will observe the Newton's ring rings in reflected light. Now here we can see from the point where light ray strikes at the glass plate P, a transmitted part will move towards the T1, and similarly from lens this second point light will reflected and come to the point plate P again, and from here it will be transmitted. So these T1 and T2 are transmitted rays, and when these will be taking place, and if these T1 and T2 are getting overlapped and pattern is observed for T1 T2, then this pattern will be called Newton's rings in transmitted light. So here we can see, and we know from the theory of wave shaped films, the path difference between the two rays R1 and R2, that is 2d cos theta, where theta is the angle, and here we can see this angle will be theta, that is angle of contact you can say. Now for Newton's ring we can say, applying Stokes law, the condition for bright ring will be 2 mu t cos r, which is equal to 2n plus 1 lambda by 2, and for air film mu is equal to 1, and for near normal incidence r is very small, because for normal incidence I is approximately 0, and when I is approximately 0, r is approximately 0, and hence cos 0, that is cos r, will be approximately equal to 1. Thus we will get 2 mu t cos r. In place of 2 mu t cos r, we have 2t, because mu is equal to 1 and cos r is equal to 1. So we will have 2t is equal to 2n plus 1 lambda by 2, and where n is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on, and this n is the order of the ring. First order, second order, that is n is the order of the ring. So here we will find the condition for bright ring to be 2t is equal to 2n plus 1 lambda by 2, where lambda is the wavelength of light sodium lamp we are using. So lambda is wavelength of sodium lamp here. Now for dark rings, applying Stokes law, we will get, as there will be no path length applicable, no path change will applicable because of Stokes law, 2 mu t cos r will be equal to n lambda. Again for air film, mu is equal to 1, and for small r we have condition for dark rings, 2t is equal to n lambda. In same way, we will have mu equal to 1 and cos r is equal to 1, so we will have 2t is equal to n lambda, and here we can determine this value 2 mu t cos r is equal to n lambda by using for dark rings applying Stokes law. Stokes law is that when a light ray is reflecting from a rarer to denser surface, means a light ray is coming from rarer medium and falling on the denser medium and getting reflected at the denser medium, then a path change of lambda by 2 or a phase change of pi is observed or is created in the wavelet. So applying that condition of Stokes law, we will get 2 mu t cos r is equal to n lambda, and ultimately applying mu equal to 1 and cos r is equal to 1, 2t is equal to n lambda. This will be condition for dark rings or dark rings condition or Minima's condition for Newton's ring. Now we will find out the radius of Newton's rings. So here we are completing the circle like this sphere of plano-convex lens C, and this is the glass plate on the lower side. Here we can see, suppose at any point B a ring is observed, a ring is formed at any thickness Tn, and here the point is taken to be B, and from center O of the sphere to this point of contact, the point A is coming here. So AB will be equal to Rn, that will be the radius of the ring which is formed at thickness Tn. And here on the plate P, we are shown M and N opposite to the A and B, and this is again thickness Tn. So from diagram we can see that when we are contacting from O to B, that is radius of the sphere, and that is given as R. Now, as we know AM is equal to Tn, so from O to A, the length will be equal to R minus Tn, because if we are joining O to M, that is equal to R, and Tn is not included, so we will get OA is equal to R minus Tn. So now from here, for finding Rn, we will use the triangle OAB, and applying Pythagoras theorem we will find out, and then after some approximation we will determine the radius of the Newton's rings. So here R is radius of curvature of lens, T is thickness of air film at a distance, AB is equal to Rn, OA is equal to R minus T here in this diagram. On more generalizing, instead of Tn we are using T. From triangle OAB, we have from the Pythagoras theorem, R square means OB square is equal to OA square plus AB square. That is R square is equal to R minus T square plus Rn square, where Rn is radius or is length of AB. So from here we will get Rn square is equal to R square minus R minus T square, which is equal to R square minus T square plus 2RT, that is 2RT minus T square. As R is very greater than T, Rn square is equal to 2RT. Since R is very greater than T, so in comparison to 2RT, T square will be negligible, so we can ignore T square, and so we will get Rn square is equal to 2RT. And from here we can get T is equal to Rn square upon 2R. Now, using this thickness T, the value of the condition for bright rings can be determined. We know 2T is equal to 2n plus 1 lambda by 2, where T is equal to Rn square upon 2R. Putting this value, we will get 2Rn square upon 2R is equal to 2n plus 1 lambda by 2. So we get Rn square is equal to 2n plus 1 lambda R by 2, and hence we get Rn is equal to under root 2n plus 1 lambda R by 2. So implies diameter Dn is equal to 2 times of under root 2n plus 1 lambda R over 2, where n is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on. So from here we can see that diameter is proportional to square root of 2n plus 1, that is square root of odd natural numbers, because when if we are putting n equal to 0 we will get 1, then n equal to 1 we will get 3. So we will get dn is proportional to under root 2n plus 1. Now similarly for dark rings we have the condition 2t is equal to n lambda and t is equal to Rn square upon 2R. So we have 2 into Rn square upon 2R is equal to n lambda, that is Rn is equal to under root n lambda R. So diameter of dark rings, that is Dn is equal to 2 times Rn is equal to 2 under root n lambda R, that is under root 4 n lambda R, or we can say the diameter of dark rings is proportional to under root n is natural number. So from here we can say that the diameter of bright rings is proportional to odd natural number, square root of odd natural numbers, and diameter of dark rings is proportional to square root of natural numbers. So this is all for today. Next topic we will consider in next class. Thank you.